last video I did about the ATS series of receivers, I did have a few comments regarding the GOSHANTE firmware for the ATS 20. Now, in the past, I've upgraded a couple of my ATS 20s using the firmware from Ricardo Karate, PU2CLR. I'd never bothered to upgrade this ATS 20 Plus I've got here, and if I switch it on quickly, hopefully we'll see. Here we go. It's on the original firmware version 1.5. That is the firmware that the radio came with. You can see the screen and the font there. Okay, but I've never upgraded that one. I have upgraded the standard ATS 20, as I say, to a much later version, which gives an improved display and some improvement to the general functions and the use of the radio. Now, the GOSHANTE firmware, I believe, is a fairly recent development. It's based on the PU2CLR firmware, and I'm guessing it's a kind of an upgrade of that. So let's have a look at the new firmware and what they say it will do, and then we're going to have a go at upgrading this ATS 20 Plus to the new firmware. We'll see the difference it makes to the operation of the radio and whether it's a worthwhile upgrade. Here is the GitHub page for the GOSHANTE ATS 20 firmware. You'll see it's based around the firmware by PU2CLR. It's clearly an update of that. There's an impression of what the display will look like with this firmware installed. We've got the features: a reworked interface, better fonts, better tuning of the BFO on SSB. Looks like an improvement to RDS, better S-meter, additional tuning steps, adjustable screen brightness, and so on. There's also mention a little bit further down here of the soft mute. Here, okay, we can alter the soft mute. That is the silence between tuning steps, or the chuffing that we experience when we're tuning these radios. So hopefully we can reduce that. As you can see, there's quite a lot of information on the page here. There's a user manual which talks you through the improved firmware once you have it installed and how it all works. We've also got some instructions on how to flash the radio. Now, I leave some links to my earlier videos where I flash the PU2CLR firmware onto my older ATS 20 radio, but we're going to follow the instructions on this page for flashing this one. It recommends that we use something called AVR DUDES. I've not come across that before, but I'm going to download it, and that's what we need to flash the ATS 20 Plus with. We also need to identify what kind of Arduino board is on or in the ATS 20 Plus. I've got an earlier video actually of the internals of my radio, so I'll look back at that and I'll be able to check which Arduino board it has, because that affects how we flash the system. And then we'll take it from there. So the next step, I'm going to download this firmware, or this improved firmware. I'm going to download the AVR DUDES file. I'll just see quickly if I can find that. I guess there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve on how to operate it, but this looks like it's going to be it. So I'll leave a link to this page as well. Looks like that's the one we want. I'll just download that quickly and we'll have a look at it here. Usual warning from Windows, we'll run it anyway. And we'll just install that. We accept the agreement and we'll install it there and have a shortcut. And let's just launch it quickly and see what it looks like. So that's AVR DudeS. That's what we're going to use to flash the firmware. You can see there's a lot of parameters here. So we're going to need to do a little bit of work on working out just how this works. Okay, I've got AVR DudeS open. That's the program recommended to flash the ATS 20 Plus with the GOSHANTE firmware. So I'm just going to show you how I'm using it, and we'll see if it all works. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my device manager, and you can see here at COM6 I've got the radio. It's USB serial CH340. You need to be seeing something like this in your device manager. The CH340. That's the lead plugged into the mini USB port on the 20 Plus programming port. I'm just going to right click on that for a moment, and we're going to have a look at properties and the port settings. I need to check that's 57600, so that's okay. If yours isn't saying 57600, you need to change it there, okay? Because when we look at AVR DudeS, it seems to default to 57600, or this one now I've opened it is blank, but we'll come to that. Let's select the port. Remember COM6. We'll put the board right in there, 57600. Over on the presets, we know we've got an Arduino Nano here. So we'll select that one, Arduino Nano 80 Mega 328P. We'll do that. And now we need to direct the software to the hex file that we're going to flash the ATS 20 with. That's in my downloads folder. I'll just go and find it. There it is. Okay, ATS EX. We'll open that. So we should be good to go now. We just check that here we need to have the right radio button clicked. Okay, just underneath the path to the hex file. We've got our presets. So let's press a button and see what happens. So we'll press go here. And something's happening potentially, or maybe not. Right, okay, well I can see straight away what's gone wrong. So I'll just press stop, because for some reason we're no longer on COM6 here. So when these things happen, let's go back. Let's go to COM6. Make sure everything else is okay. We haven't lost anything else. So let's try again now, using COM6. And here we go. And you can see now that it's writing to the device. No change on the screen at the moment on the ATS 20 Plus. Okay, now it says it's done it. We've got flash verification mismatch there. I don't know what that means, but it says it's done it. What I'm going to do now, we can see the receiver. I'm going to power the receiver off. I'll unplug it first from the computer. I'll power the receiver off. We'll power it back on again. And there we are. We've gone up to the the new GOSHANTE firmware. You can see the display looks a little bit different. This ATS 20 was on the original, I think it's 1.3 version firmware that it shipped with to me. Never upgraded it. So, bar one little glitch, we've managed to successfully flash this. The next step will be to get to know the new firmware, and I'll show you how we can use it and what the differences are. You can probably see immediately, if I just bring that up a little, you can probably see immediately that the display is quite different from the original version. It's supposed to be a lot easier to tune SSB on. We'll come to that. I hope that was of some use anyway, and the message is, don't be afraid of this AVR DUDES program. It does look very intimidating, or it does to me at least. But what we need for the purposes of flashing these radios, we need to set the port, the baud rate. We need to pick the preset over here, Arduino Nano. And we need to show the AVR DUDES program where the hex file is. So I hope that was of some use, and as I say, in the next video we'll look at just how we use the new firmware and what difference it makes. Thanks for watching.